Yes guys, welcome back to More GBFC. I normally do these videos on a Saturday, but because there's so much football coming once again now, between now and the end of the season, it looks as though the chilled, minimal editing video where we go through all of the Premier League games coming up this weekend. You guys can see them here. We begin at Goodison Park tomorrow for Arsenal versus Everton. Make sure, if you enjoyed this laid-back show that we do before every Premier League game week, that you smack a like on the video. And whilst you're at it, subscribe to More GBFC. I'm hoping, it's a bit of an ask, but I'm hoping we can reach 4,000 subscribers by the end of this Premier League weekend. So, Everton versus Arsenal. The final time ever that Arsenal will play at Goodison Park. Arsenal are 12 points behind Everton's rivals, Liverpool. And Everton, it's looking pretty much like they've got nothing to play for. West Ham, Everton and Spurs, those are the teams I'm basically going to say are so bad or average in the Premier League that they've actually got no reason to show up. I'm joking about that. But there's really nothing here because I don't think Wolves are going to catch West Ham or Everton or Tottenham. But I also don't think any of them are going to catch Man United or Palace. So this really is from 14th down where the Premier League is going to be decided, I guess. And then the bottom three, I think, are the bottom three. Too late for Ipswich. But anyway, let's focus on Everton versus Arsenal. I am going to say that Arsenal are going to win this game 2-0. Ipswich Town versus Wolves. This is a massive game because if Ipswich win, they go within 6 points of Wolves with 7 games to go. It would be their second win in a row. And I just wonder, right, if you're an Ipswich fan watching this video, are you even remotely, is there any optimism? Is there anything that makes you think, you know what? Even though Wolves have obviously won 3 of their last 5, they've only lost 1 of their last 5 games. They just seem to be a much better team than Ipswich do. And if we look at the goals that Wolves have scored, they've scored 11 more than Ipswich. They've conceded 5 less than Ipswich all season. I just don't think there's enough time. But I do think Ipswich are going to win this game 1-0, which would put them within 6 points of Wolves in the Premier League relegation zone. At least we know if Ipswich lose to Wolves this weekend, tomorrow, it is over. All 3 of those teams in the relegation zone will be going down. Crystal Palace versus Brighton. Now, this is an intriguing game of football. Palace are 12th. With 40 points, Brighton are 8th with 47. Palace have a game in hand. And they're also unbeaten in their last 4. And they're into an FA Cup semi-final. And I think Palace are going to win this at home. They've been amazing away from home recently in 2025. Crystal Palace only conceded 1 goal. And that was to Southampton a couple of days ago. But I think this is going to finish Palace 2, Brighton 1. West Ham versus Bournemouth. Now then again. If we look at the table in terms of the form, Bournemouth are without a win in 5. West Ham, they've without a win in their last 3. And they're basically in that precarious, but not really precarious because nothing really matters when you're down there right now. It's just about finishing ahead of the rest of them and trying to get as much prize money, I guess, from the Premier League as one possibly can. I can't separate these two. I could see this being close, and I'm going to say West Ham 1, Bournemouth 1. Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest. Now, this is a battle of 7th against 3rd. Aston Villa are in such amazing form right now. They've got Champions League quarterfinals coming up. Nottingham Forest, FA Cup semi-finalists, the same as Aston Villa. And this game is such a difficult one to call. But the fact it's at Villa Park, I've got a funny feeling that Aston Villa are going to turn up here. And I think they're going to win 2-1. And I think this is a huge win for Aston Villa's season. There's a debate that could be had that they rest some players going into that game against PSG. For me, about Villa right now, it's all about momentum. Keep winning. Keep going into those games. Champions League, right? You need to go into those games in form. Otherwise, PSG are going to slaughter them. Let's be honest. They are in such good form. So I think it's just about confidence right now for Aston Villa. And I think they are going to get a huge win at home to Nottingham Forest. Tottenham versus Southampton. Well, you have got officially the worst team in the Premier League and officially one of the worst other teams in the Premier League, this one. And it's at Spurs. Tottenham are just rubbish, aren't they? After what I saw last night, I think they will win, though. I think Spurs are going to beat Southampton 1-0. And look, for the Saints, it's near impossible for anything to happen here. So 1-0 defeat at Tottenham at this point in the season. It's about how little goals you concede. Brentford, Chelsea. This is a tricky one because Chelsea and Brentford, right? Brentford, since they come in the Premier League, we play them at Stamford Bridge. It's really difficult. Brentford always come to the bridge and get a result. Whereas Chelsea, when we go there, we don't do all that badly either. So, based on what I saw from Chelsea last night, and Brentford weren't bad at Newcastle, but Newcastle were the better team significantly, and a lot more of the ball. I think Chelsea are actually going to get 3 points here. I think this is going to be a good win. I'm going to say Brentford 1, Chelsea 2. Fulham versus Liverpool. When we look at the table again, Fulham, they've kind of fallen off a little bit, haven't they? Just 2 wins in their last 5 games. There was talk of like some kind of surge towards a Champions League place, but it's not going to happen. They might get Conference League if they're lucky, depending on how all the positions go. But I've just got a feeling they're going to get a result here against Liverpool. And look, this is like the laid-back, chilled show, basically, where I can say whatever I want, really. I don't analyse it too much. I just look at the fixtures, top end. If I'm going to have a bet, this is what I'm going to have a little bet on this weekend. And I'm going to say that Fulham are going to get a draw against Liverpool. I think it's going to be 2-2. And I don't really know why I'm saying that, to be honest. It's just one of them where I'm like, you guys can come back to the comment section on Monday if it turns out I was right. I genuinely believe that is going to happen, though. Fulham 2, Liverpool 2. And we move into, without question, the biggest game of the weekend on paper, Manchester derby. Manchester United versus Manchester City. Question is, who does this mean more to? Man United are at home under Ruben Amorim, looking for any kind of glimmer of hope that at some point in the near distant future, probably quite distant future, they can be something again. And Manchester City are 5th. They're just starting to kind of go through the gears a little bit more. They beat Leicester 2-0, comfortable. Great win away at Bournemouth in the FA Cup last weekend to make it to the semis. Chelsea, as a Chelsea fan, I'm looking at this and I'm like, we need a Manchester United win here. Because even if they win, they're only level on points with Palace with a worse goal difference, and Palace have a game in hand. So Man United aren't going anywhere. And I've got to be honest. We need Man City to drop points for Chelsea's Champions League race. The question is, do Man United have enough quality to do it? Yes, they do. I'm going to say Man United are going to beat Man City 2-1 in the final Super Sunday game. And it leaves us with Leicester City versus Newcastle. A Newcastle team bang in form off the back of that Carabao Cup victory. 3 wins in their last 4 in the Premier League. Leicester City, they're as good as down. They are losing every single game. And look, I wish I could finish with a shock. But unfortunately, Newcastle are going to smash Leicester 3-0 away from home. And that is going to be the scores for all of the Premier League games this weekend. Make sure, if you do get a bet on this, you put the right scores on and it all comes in. Just send me a tenner. Send me a super chat, something like that. But anyway, I'm going to have a hot chocolate now and go to bed because this has been a long Friday for me. But I hope you guys are having a good one. Whatever you're doing with your weekend, enjoy it. I think I'm going to be live tomorrow here on More GBFC. So make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to do like a watch along for all the other games. I think Ipswich Wolves is going to be fascinating. And Palace Brighton's going to be a good game. So I will see you guys there. Have a good one. Catch you later.